Okay, so I just got a comment from AveyOwyns. Now, if you don't remember who AveyOwyns is, she's a girl that I had a bit of a back and forth here on YouTube with, and her last video, I actually mirrored it to give her the same soapbox I have so I wouldn't bully her with my channel size. And in that video, she said that she doesn't have any time for me. It's actually in her title to her video that I'm a waste of her time. And also in her video she says that nothing I can say as an argument to her will have any weight because I am an atheist. And somehow tainted. So, from her comment I can see that Poe's Law has just claimed another victim. I made a video dripping with sarcasm from the point of view that I wanted America to sprint forward in a race to fucktard children. And it seems like she's taken me seriously. In that video, I talked about how Americans have retarded the progress of children in schools by letting religion and religious ideologies infect education. And by the end of it, I said that Canada, AveyOwyns' home country, now was sprinting forward past the U.S. because of a situation in Toronto where there were 3 tiers of students. Boys, girls, menstruating girls. And menstruating girls aren't allowed to pray, but there was a school-sponsored prayer function with those 3 tiers, and they were separating kids. And I think it's very wrong, because to teach women that they are dirty when over something so natural is just something that's going to mess them up for life. Now here's AveyOwyns' comment. I'm just going to read it first and then respond to it. You are an ethnocentric goof. Do you know the number of children who are forced into sex slavery every day in other countries and around the world, and it's legal? How many girls are raped by AIDS-infested men because it's the supposed cure? How many children are without education and access to hospitals because their governments just don't care? But wait, an American parent wants to teach their children about their view of reality, and that makes America the leader of effing kids over? Grow a brain. So, first off, the statement, you are an ethnocentric goof. Apparently by that statement, AveyOwyns means that people of differing perspectives and cultures are all on the same playing field. They're all equally valid. And for me to say that my culture or view is better than theirs is something that should never happen. I should never put forth that something in my culture is better than what's in another culture. Even though she goes on to herself lay out at least 3 other situations where our mutual culture in North America, between the both of us, she's trying to say that these things are wrong and we should universally not approve of them. So yeah, if I'm ethnocentric here, I'm okay with that. I actually don't think that every cultural tenet is something that we need to view as equal. There are some things that are just fucked up and we all need to disagree with it. Her question to start off is, do you know the number of children who are forced into sex slavery every day in other countries around the world, and it's legal? I've watched every video on AveyOwyns' channel, and it's very clear that she is a fundamentalist Christian. She even says that a lot. And pot kettle black, okay? In the Bible, it speaks about how to treat your slaves and how you should take the virgins of, the spoils of war, and then kill all the men, the young men and the old men, and the old women who aren't virgins, but take the virgins for yourself and make them your concubines. And yeah, and for her to say that this slavery around the world, it's wrong because it's legal, and also be that fundamentalist Christian, I think she's on shaky ground. But I do agree that the sex slavery is wrong, and I don't want her to go to a stricter fundamentalist interpretation of her Bible. That's not what I want. So, grats on being a little bit more liberal this time, Avey. Do you know how many girls are raped by AIDS-infested men because it's the supposed cure? Well, Avey, do you know how many girls were forced to marry their rapist because of rules in the Bible? Even as recent as within the last 100 years. A lot of people thought, well, if someone finds out that we had sex because you got pregnant, then, they're going to pull out the shotguns and we're going to have a wedding. So, I do agree, though, that it is wrong for men to rape women because they think that it's the cure for their AIDS. But in some of these places in Africa, I think that you're talking about Africa, I would say that at least it's progress that the men do not think that the AIDS is a symptom of demonic infestation of their souls or something. At least they're actually recognizing that there is a virus that's doing this, and a little bit of science is getting to them. Of course, it gets twisted, along with science that AveyOwyns tries to assimilate into her own beliefs. She still doesn't believe that she's a creationist, although she does have a video on her channel that says that there was a problem of incest after Adam and Eve, but God created the genes of Adam and Eve more perfectly. She said, when I called her out for being a creationist, she said she wasn't. And so she says in her video that the genes that were in Cain and Abel and all the progeny of Adam and Eve, for a little while they were more perfect, and that's how God did it. And that is completely not the evolutionary biologist's view of things. Now, she seems to think that she has successfully assimilated evolution into her creationist views, but she hasn't. No. If you don't believe that there was always a population large enough to lend genetic diversity to human beings, all the way back from the point that we were single-celled organisms that left both asexual and sexual reproduction for just sexual reproduction, if you think that there was ever a time that there was just two human beings, then you do not believe in evolution. You are still a creatard. Because if there were ever just two human beings, we would be stricken with hemophilia, Down syndrome, all that horrible list of maladies that happens from incest. But apparently, Avey thinks that her hybrid of creationism and evolution is somehow something that it is a shield that can defend her from me calling her a creationist, which is just that's a fantasy. Let's see. Do I know how many children are without education and access to hospitals because their governments just don't care? I actually don't know many governments that just don't care. I think any government on the planet pretty much would give education and access to hospitals to their entire population if they could. But there are some regimes that are still oppressing women by not treating them the same in educational institutions, as was the case in Toronto, Canada, that I pointed out in the video. So yeah, here you are saying that education access isn't being given because the governments don't care. Well, I'd say that the Toronto school district needs to care a little bit more about how their kids are being educated to believe that women are dirtier than men. Why doesn't Toronto care? You know? So, next statement. But wait, an American parent wants to teach their children about their view of reality, and that makes America the leader of effing kids over? When a fundamentalist creationist Christian, such as AveyOwyns, starts talking about parents having their view of reality in a way that makes that view, on par with or equal to any other view of reality, I really don't think that she understands what the word reality means. Reality is the thing that we all have to face together, where we have no choice but to realize that there are common truths among us. And one of these, I think, should be that men and women should be treated equally in a school system so as not to fuck up women for the rest of their lives. AveyOwyns, when you use the word reality, you keep on using that word, but I do not think it means what you think it means. Yeah. And then she says, grow a brain. I have been trying to grow a brain, and in dealing with AveyOwyns, I have told some of my Christian friends that Avey won't talk to me about this issue about her creationism. And I know some Christian friends who actually understand evolution. And I told them, well, she won't talk to me because I'm an atheist, but I do still care about her general well-being and education. So I told them to approach Avey. Yeah? And some of them still haven't done it. But now I think I know why. Try to follow me here. Okay. Every day, one of my friends on YouTube pretty much will send me a message saying, look what AveyOwyns wrote on my video. And it's always a really mean, evil message. And I'm thinking now, it's not just Muslims that have that rule that women who are menstruating are dirty and not to be talked to. There's also, verses in the Old Testament. And she is a fundamentalist. So maybe these Christians that I know, that I asked to talk to her about this, maybe they're just waiting for her to get off the rag. I don't really want to, diagnose that someone's PMSing. That's not really my place as a man. But how do we know whether or not she's, going through these woman issues when she always leaves these mean comments? Maybe they're just waiting for her to, taper off with these comments, and maybe then they'll approach her and try to get through to her. And in that way they're respecting her views that, she's dirty for that period of time every month and doesn't need to be talked to. Maybe they're just waiting for their moment. Is it possible to have one period that lasts half a year? Is that like a Guinness record? Anyways, Poe's Law claimed another victim. Yay.